Hey there! We've got some rapids ahead of us, so I hope you've brought your life jacket. I actually forgot mine. I was gonna wear a life jacket when I recorded this today, and I left it at home this morning. So, whatever. Ruined it. Anyway, rapids. They're coming up at the end of this video. You're going to be prepared to go and deal with all of those. But let's get to some announcements first. Today's announcement is that there's not going to be announcements on these videos anymore. This is the second time I'm recording this thing now because I made a bunch of announcements about the new people we have in class. And if they're new, they don't have access to this video yet. So I'm going to have to do announcements just through the announcements thing. So the announcement today is check your announcements for announcements. No more announcements here. If you're a 5th grader or a 6th grader who wasn't in orchestra last year, you've heard me talk about the open string blues on these videos in the past, and you're probably wondering, what is that? Keep on wondering for a second while I grab a violin to show you. Alright, so here's a violin. It's different if you play viola or cello. So violas and cellos, go ahead and check out for about 30 seconds and then come back and I'll tell you yours, alright? Violins. We have 4 strings. High strings on one side, low strings on another side. We're going to start with the highest string and we're going to pluck or pizzicato 8 of them. Guitar position or shoulder position. But we're going to pizzicato 8 of those E's. Then we're going to move on to the next thickest string, the A string, and we're going to play 8 of them. The shoulder rest keeps falling off. And we're just going to play each string lower, starting on the highest string, ending on the lowest string, 8 times each. Cellos and viola. You have 4 strings. We're going to start with the lowest string, your C string, and we're going to pizzicato 8 times. Then we're going to jump up to our highest string, playing it 8 times. Then you're going to back down a string, and at the end, when we cycle and repeat, you're back down to the lowest string. So you're going low, high, a little bit lower, low, high, lower, lower, low. But each one is happening 8 times. Let me just show you instead of talking about it. Violins. Oh, that's out of tune. Take 2. Cellos and viola. Those 4 strings playing 8 notes each happens 3 times total. Here's open string blues. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready, go. Next string. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again. Next. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here we go. Next. And we always end some way like this, I don't know. So here's how the rapids work. The rapids are kind of your test of what you learned in the other stuff. So up to this point, we've learned about our open strings, we've learned about pizzicato, and we've learned about the quarter notes and quarter rests. That's how you got out of that last lodge to end up here at the rapids. Now we're gonna test that skill. So if you felt pretty good coming out of the lodge, I think you're probably gonna be just fine here at these rapids. You have a choice between number 5, 6, and 7. The biggest number isn't always necessarily the hardest one. For example, you might have noticed that number 6 is exactly the same as number 4. So number 6 isn't gonna be worth more points than number 5. That doesn't make any sense. Let's go ahead and start with that one though. That's a good place to start if you already know it from last time. The only thing that really makes this different than number 4 is that it introduces the double bar line. This is the symbol that comes at the end of all of our music to symbolize the end of the music. When you're practicing, you want to think of small chunks, baby steps, little things that you can start easy and make it harder and more difficult as you go. One of the ways I like to do this is called clap it, say it, pits it, play it. Clap it, say it, pits it, play it. Let's start with some clapping. See, it's got the same rhythm as all those pieces on the other page. Group of 3, group of 3, group of 7. 1, 2, and a clap it, ready, go. You got 2 different levels of notes here. You got a low note and a high note. Let's show that with our clapping. Low, 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 high, high, high. Low, low, high, high, low, low, low. You clap it, I'll play piano. 1, 2, and a clap it, here we go. Let's say it. D, 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 A, A, A. D, D, A, A, D, D, D. D, 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 A, A, A. D, D, A, A, D, D, D. I bet when you signed up for orchestra, you were probably like, man, we sing all the time in music class, and I don't like singing. I was never a very good singer. That's why I'm going to play an instrument, and I'll never have to sing again. Wrong! You get to sing. Some pizzicato. Just because it's fun. Let's rock back and forth while we play it. Play it with your tongue sticking out. Play it with your eyes closed. Play it facing backwards. Play it upside down. The goal is not to be able to practice until you can play it right. The goal is to practice it so many times that you can't play it wrong. Play it! If you don't know how to hold this yet, don't do it! Number 7's pretty much the same rhythm, but the strings you pluck, they mix them up. Clap it! Say it! D, A, D, A, D, A. D, A, D, A, D, D, D. Tiny cello, pits it. If you don't know how to hold your bow, don't do this yet. Now we move on to number 5, the hardest one, which is only the hardest one because I flipped a coin and George Washington's head was at Pierre's door. George Washington's head was at Pierre's door? What? Clap it! The rhythm is different. We got 5 quarter notes in a row before a first rest. Then there's that one A all alone up there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 7. Ba 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 ba. Clap it! 1, 2, here we go. Say it! D, 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 A, D, A, D, D, A, A, D, A, D. Say it part 2, parentheses, sing it. D, 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 A, D, A, D, D, A, A, D, A, D. Pits it. Do what I say, not what I do. Don't do that. And play it. 1, 2. Here we go. I think I know what you look like now. Even if I don't, your name shows up on the computer. So you don't need to really say your name in the video that you submit for your assignment. Let's just make it this easy. Here's how simple your video could be. Number 6. Now, of course, that guy'd probably not be getting a 3 because his posture was bad. But, you know, between the 2 notes we've talked about and posture, I mean, that's like a third of what we've talked about so far. When you think you're ready to do this, click all those arrows down there, scroll forwards to the assignment, and it's the same as the other things. You know, pull up that video box, record yourself, take as many times as you need. Good luck. Once you submit it, I will grade it. Once I grade it, you will see it. Once you see it, you've got to decide if you want to accept it or go back and try again. Until you move on to the next stop along our river, you can resubmit this over and over and over again to try to improve your grade. But once you accept your grade and move on to the next stop, you can't come back. You can't paddle up a river. It takes too much effort. However, later on, we'll get to an airport and we can fly around between places that we've been to before. So once you get to an airport, you can fly back and retake these tests again if you want to get a higher grade. If you're ready to move on right now, go ahead and accept your score and check out the next module. If the video isn't up yet, you can still do the assignment anyway. It's there in the, you can still see what you got to play, what it's going to cost, what you can get for it. You can still turn in videos. I can still add your score to the scoreboard, and we can move along if you want. However, and this is a big however, if you're ahead of me and you haven't seen the video yet explaining all the little tiny details that you need to be successful in playing those things, then you might not yet actually be successful playing those things. That big however thing is I'm gonna be really picky about those details. Because I can't let you move on if you're doing something wrong. It's gonna mess you up further down the river. If you've got a hole in your boat and we don't patch it, you might float fine for the next 200 miles. But sooner or later, it's gonna fill up with water and you're gonna have a problem that you needed to solve back there, and we didn't do it. Cool? But I still want to encourage you to try anyway. And in the comments, when I grade back, I'm going to give you some helpful hints that will make you better. My goal is to teach you even before I teach the rest of the class. Yeah? I think we can do it. It's a work at your own pace kind of thing. If you're leaving the rest of them in the dust because you're highly motivated, well, awesome. Good on you. Lastly, that scoreboard is updated every morning. I put the time on it when I upload it. So if you're wondering if something's not turned in yet, check out the time when you submitted the assignment. If you submitted something before that upload time on the scoreboard, then you know I might have made a mistake and left something off. If you're really worried about it, you can message me and I'll clear things up. If you're only kind of worried about it, just wait until the next day when I update it, and if I haven't fixed it then, it's a problem. That's all I've got. Good luck on your rapids. Try to stay dry.